All right, we live. Just give me a second.
There's a lot going on in the world. Gas prices, real estate and housing costs, gun violence, education, politics, drugs. And there are far too many podcasts talking about idiocy that means nothing. We don't talk to you, we talk with you. This is the GAFSTA podcast, giving all folks solid, true advice. If it's happening in the world and it's important to you, we're talking about it. Let's do it. Welcome to GAFSTA. Now your host, Dr. Deshaun Parker.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody to the GAFTA podcast. We here today. I got my man showing stats, my brother Terry from the M Town with me today, and we're gonna be talking about the topic of legalizing marijuana, man, the causes and effects, and just kind of how we think what it should be like and what's going on with the world, man. There's a lot of ups and downs and conflicts about this topic, and we're gonna go right into it, man. So what's up, man? Everybody get shouts out to my brother, man. He in with me. We've been rocking since day one.
What's up, Dr. Parker? How you doing, brother?
Oh man, everything good. You know what I'm saying, man? Glad to have you on with me. And
Man,
we just rocking it and doing it like we do.
anytime I can, I'm talking about, be a benefit, I'm talking about, and definitely, get some aid and assistance to my folks, man, I'm saying, let them know what's going on. I'm definitely here, I'm saying, positivity and productivity.
Man, I always living by the five P's and three D's, just like that. You know.
Believe that for sure.
Man, so let's talk about this legalization and with marijuana, man. We got a lot of different states that's already on point with it, and we got some states that's not for it and everything, man. So, what's your thoughts?
So before I give a position, what I'm saying, I really wanted to kind of talk about some of the numbers, right? You see my name, only facts and stats, right? I just really wanted to talk about some of the numbers, kind of give some context and perspective
Okay, okay,
um, before I really give my position, right? So a lot of studies been done, and a lot of people have looked at this issue, marijuana. Now, so let's talk about 2019 for a second, right? So 2019, before the pandemic, right?
yeah,
There was 1.56 million arrests that was related to drugs in general, right? In America,
okay,
these FBI stats, right?
right,
So that's 1.56 million, right? But 80%, 86% of those arrests, right, 1.35 million
mm,
were for possession, not
okay,
sale,
right,
right? Just for possession, right? Now, of that 1.35 million, 37% of the total 1.5 or 500,395 of those was for the possession of marijuana, right? Not the
okay,
sale, not the distribution, just the possession, right?
gotcha.
So so in 2020, there was one marijuana arrest every 90 seconds in 2020. Think about that. Every minute and a half, an arrest for marijuana in some way, whether it was possession, sale, distribution, or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Now, so some states, our state, right, my state, Tennessee, has one of the lowest threshold that makes marijuana a felony, which is 14 grams,
okay, okay,
right? Anything 14 grams or more can be a felony in the state of Tennessee. States like Utah, you can be up to 100 pounds and then it become a felony, right? So we had to talk about the prison industrial complex from that aspect, right? So we talk about um, the average incarceration for a marijuana possession is 5 months nationwide, right?
5 months. Yeah, I got you.
5 months for a marijuana possession, right? So then we got to think about how much it costs, right? So the monthly cost, average cost of incarceration nationwide is about $3,800, right? 47% of inmates are parents of children, right? 19% of those children that they're parents of are 4 years old or younger, right? So
Yeah,
now think
yeah,
about that. You're taking parents out of the home for a marijuana possession, which costs America $3,800 a month for each individual, and they got kids at home. Almost half of those people incarcerated, or the 2.2 million that's incarcerated in America. Some say it's dropped to about 2.18, but let's just say 2.18, right? In America, 50% of those almost have children, right? So we leaving our children out there. And then 70% of incarcerated people have read at a fourth grade level or below.
yeah. Right, right. So let's kind of back up a minute, right?
Okay.
You've put the statistics out about the different weight pounds as far as each city. 14 grams in Memphis, and I think 100 grams in
100
Utah.
pounds in Utah, 100
100 pounds,
pounds.
right? So that's a huge difference in disparity. Now, but you went back and you
Absolutely.
said that whether you in Memphis or Tennessee or Utah, the minimum is 5 months, whether it's 14 grams or 100 pounds.
The average,
The
the average
average,
incarceration is 5 months for 14
regardless,
grams. Let's
for
just think if it
14
was 14
grams.
grams.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Let's just think if it was 14 grams. Even if they don't make it, even if they make it a felony, let's just take Tennessee because I know Tennessee well.
Okay,
In Tennessee, let's just say they catch you with 15 grams and they charge you with felony marijuana possession and they give you a year, right? Or a year and a day, right?
yeah,
So they give you a year. You got to do 6 months and 10 days for 15 grams of marijuana if they give you a year and a day,
right,
right?
right.
That's to flatten the sentence. Now they can let you out in 90 days, put you on paper for the rest of the time, but then you on parole or probation for about another 7 months, right? So during that time,
At $3,800
mhm,
a month. At
at
thirty eight
thirty
hundred
eight hundred
dollars
dollars a
a
month
month.
incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say 4,000 times five, that's 20,000, right? So let's just say about $18,000 to incarcerate you or me or anybody for having 15 grams of marijuana, which probably costs $25 on the street.
Right, right. So let's go back, right? In in street terms, okay.
Right.
14 grams, $25. What, two or three
That's
blunts?
a quarter
Right.
ounce.
Yep. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
So no, it's a half ounce. Pardon me, that's a half ounce. So now we got to think about why are they doing this? Why is this happening? Right? Who benefits off of this? They would try to say that the public benefits because we get criminals off the street, but if somebody has marijuana, not selling it to kids, because what they're painted as that they selling it to kids and getting kids strung
Distribution.
out and doing a distribution and all
Mm-hmm.
this,
Yeah.
you just got a half ounce of marijuana. Even if you was selling a half ounce of marijuana, you wouldn't make much money,
Right, right.
right? So you can't, you got to be po hustling if you are hustling. But the thing is that the marijuana possession is a cash cow for certain individuals when we talk about the prison industrial
Oh,
complex and all
absolutely.
that, right?
Absolutely.
So marijuana becomes the golden calf or the purple cow. You know what I'm talking about? Or the chicken that laid the golden eggs for
Yeah,
a lot of
right.
people, right? When you think about almost um, over one third of the arrests are simply for possession,
Yeah.
right? One third of the drug arrests are for possession of marijuana.
Okay,
You
okay.
got to think about how that happens, and in general, people with a marijuana arrest, possession arrest, don't just possess marijuana at one time, so they
So
always
repeat
got that
offenders.
that dice shoot
Yeah.
to make them repeat offenders, right?
Right, right.
Exactly. So they go to the casino on us. You know what I'm saying? They turn us into the slot machine.
Yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you. So for everything, there's a catch 22, kind of like you just
Exactly.
explained. Um, but on the flip side, you kind of mentioned a
Mm-hmm.
couple of different things, right? 14 grams, half ounce. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to argue that that's distribution, give or take.
Right.
Compared
Exactly.
compared to 100 pounds. 100 pounds, that's distribution. No questions asked. You understand what
Automatic.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But the thing is, we'll continue to use a quarter ounce or a half an ounce, right, for personal use.
Right.
And when we're talking about this much, which I'm going to assume we're talking about adults.
Right.
Now, when what happens when the kids and teenagers, right, starts to use these drugs at that certain level, and then being arrested for that as well. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's more easier for a teenager. We say, well, I'm just using it, but there's no you're a teenager. You're underage.
Exactly.
First of all, that's
Exactly.
is illegal.
Exactly.
But it's a catch 22 when we're using this, when we're using drugs and medical marijuana, so to say.
Hmm. So let me now kind of tell you, and that's part of the reason I had the position I have, right? Is and this gonna shock you, bro. This gonna shock you, folks. Listen,
Okay.
I am 100% against legalization of marijuana,
Okay.
but I am 100% for decriminalization of marijuana, right?
So go
So
ahead and
what's the
explain that.
difference?
Yeah. Go ahead and explain that a little
Okay,
bit.
so what's the difference? Legalization is doing what they did to alcohol, right? Putting it on the shelves, making it available in stores.
Right.
And I think the same thing that happened with alcohol will happen to marijuana in our communities and to the industry in general, right? If they legalize it, then that opens it up for these large corporations, tobacco corporations, alcohol corporations, insurance companies, for these people to now monopolize
Oh,
and the industry, because that's what's going to happen, right? Because they have the lobbyists, they have the politicians, they have all of this, and they will take it over, right? They tried to change the safe banking law so that they could open up funding from banks for cannabis businesses for the last 5 years, right? I think it all started in like 2017, 2018, right? They tried to change the safe banking law to allow banks in states where cannabis was a legalized business to start funding cannabis business, which is illegal right now under the FDIC rules and all of that, right? So, but that was because corporations wanted a hand in it, and they'll
yeah.
absolutely take it over with no problem. Then they're gonna put all of the dispensaries in our neighborhoods, and
Right,
they're
and
gonna
that's basically
profit
how they've
from
already
us.
started doing, right? That's basically what they have started
Exactly.
doing, especially in the states that's already legalized. You know,
Exactly.
but the twist for that is you have to have a medical marijuana card. So that kind of flips it to kind of give me a caveat when you start talking about medical marijuana and mental health and how it starts to affect you then.
Exactly. Exactly. And see, when you think about the mental health disorders that are adversely affected by marijuana use, right? You think about depression, you think about those
Anxiety,
that SAD, GAD, that
mhm,
PD,
low self
that
esteem.
exactly, you know what I'm talking about, that the suicide rate, schizophrenia, stuff like that, right? So the minorities, so when you talk about depression, about 11% of Hispanics suffer from depression. About 9% of African Americans present with the depression disorder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's those social anxieties, right? That social anxiety disorder. You know what I'm saying? like 12% of Hispanics and almost 9% of African Americans present with that social anxiety disorder, right? So, and marijuana adversely affected. So when we come and when we think about that, like more than 80% of cannabis businesses are owned by white people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But all of those, but the majority of the dispensaries and those legalized
Hmm.
marijuana businesses are in communities of color,
And
right?
we're operating them. Just that's facts.
Exactly,
That's facts.
exactly. We funded them, but and it's not to say that like I respect the 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 our economic system, right? We are capitalists in this country, right? I respect all of that,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep.
But the intentional manipulation and depression of the economics in a particular community through infusing it with alcohol and drugs on a legalized basis so that corporations can then benefit is what I'm against, right?
Right. Yeah. So
I want a situation like what's going on in Washington D.C.
yeah. So here's my thought. Here's my thought on marijuana, and I'm not for sure if I'm against it, right? And I'm gonna tell you the reason I'm against it is because, and you kind of went over some of the stats and things like that, but if there's some states that's already legalized, okay, saying okay, marijuana is now open for use, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
for actually for recreation as well. It's not all medical for medical reasons. It's used for recreation. My problem is just like you just said, all those people that's already incarcerated for those
Mm-hmm.
same, whether it's possession or use. Come on, man, we need some redemption. You understand what I'm saying? What
Mm-hmm.
goes on with the people that's already in there that's for possession or for drug use? So
But let me. Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
So everybody made a big deal about Biden and the pardon that he did, right?
Yeah.
He pardoned like 6,500 people for marijuana possession, right? He pardoned 6,500, right? That was in the federal system,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people were released because of that pardon out of
How,
the 6,500?
how many?
Zero.
Come on, man.
Zero.
But that goes. So that's going to be that's another subject though, right? But
Zero
the
people
prison
were
system
released
is a
because of that
business,
pardon.
man. Come on, you can't pardon
Exactly.
6,500 and a business. You basically just just fired 6,500 employees. You understand what I'm saying?
But the pardon was only for people to get it off of their record. It wasn't to let nobody out. Everybody who was incarcerated in the federal system who was also charged with marijuana possession had another charge that kept them in prison.
Nah, so some type of catch 22 with that. Yeah, I
Yep.
got you now.
Yep.
So another thing, I'm gonna use myself for an example, right?
Hmm.
And when we grew up in the crack epidemic, man, you know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
And
Yep. Not only grew up in it, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was out. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
and I say that to say, if I look back and all the homies or whoever that we knew that was smoking weed was just a stepping stone.
right.
Eventually, after years, that weed wasn't doing what they wanted to do. So what happened? They started smoking crack. You
Yep.
understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the same thing that's going on now these days with all these synthetic drugs, and K2 and all that.
Hmm.
Everybody and specifically the youth, the young adults, they've moved from K2, quote unquote, marijuana, these hybrids. Now they using now they popping
Perks.
perks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But more so, man, I just had a brain fart, man. What's the stuff that put you to sleep and you gone?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Fentanyl, man.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm
Yep.
saying? I was
Yep.
just leading
They're
it,
making these bogus pills. Yeah.
man, going to sleep. So what
Yep.
people don't realize is, oh yeah, I smoke marijuana. This is that. Come on, man. Somewhere in your life, you're gonna progress to something else, and you're gonna be a dope head. And that's what
Yeah.
people don't realize. So I was saying, I want to go back to myself, man. I suffer migraines, dog. I suffer migraines
Mm.
bad. You know what I'm saying? And people always say, hey, man, man, marijuana, they help with migraines and this and that. I've had a doctor recommend that to me, but I refuse.
Right.
I
Right.
refuse to say, okay, well, I'm gonna depend on weed or marijuana, to help me with my migraines and things like that. But that's just me. I think it's
Yep.
a handicap,
Mm.
especially for weak-minded people.
Mm. For sure. But see, I'm gonna tell you what the scary thing is. The scary thing is that like during like the time that we was coming up and before, like in the 90s and before, like weed was like 7% THC,
Yeah,
5, 6, 7%, right? What we was calling hydro was like 7%. Like today, they got 30% THC legalized in some states,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like people are being harmed by this high THC level, and it's coming out of these laboratories and out of these grow farms that are being industrialized. And so, what corporations are doing, companies are doing, they're heightening the THC level and giving this to people. And after you get that heightened THC level a few times, the lower THC levels don't even affect you.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of that marijuana to crack to fentanyl
Exactly.
pipeline. That's exactly.
And
Yep.
then and then that's another thing going on that needs to be addressed. And I don't think this is going on the corporate level, but I think that something like, now I am completely 100% against um sale, right? If you get caught selling, I think you are hurting our community when you get caught selling, man. That is not something we should be doing.
Man, and that's
You should
been
not
since
be
day
selling,
one. That's been since
right?
day one, man. Crack, guns.
Yep.
We've always said, man, we didn't grow this stuff in our backyards. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These guns didn't.
Right.
We didn't
We
inherit
ain't
these
build them
guns. They got
guns.
to our community some type of way. You know?
Some type of way. Yep. And so, like, I think that it should be decriminalized, just like it is in Washington D.C. Like in Washington D.C., you can have 2 ounces, right? And you can give anybody you want to. You can give them an ounce, right? But you can't sell them an ounce,
Right,
right?
right, right.
No money can change hands.
Yeah.
You can grow up to 6 plants, and you can have up to 3 mature plants,
Mhm.
right? So I agree with a situation like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I agree with a situation like Washington D.C. What I don't agree with is um completely allowing people to go willy nilly with it,
Right.
because it's understood that any not right, but any opportunity you give to people to be corrupt and to manipulate other people, when they find themselves in a distressing position, they'll take that opportunity
Yeah. Yeah.
for financial gain, especially.
Man. Yeah. I I believe if you're using it in a healthy way, right, and setting boundaries for yourself, it can be used in a positive as a positive thing. You understand?
For sure.
However, if you're using it obsessively and
Mm.
trying to sell it, comparing yourself to others, like you just explained, then it could definitely have a
Mhm.
negative impact on society and mental health, things like that. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know.
sir. And but now this is the funny thing about it though, bro. Everything that we talking about, they know. But they won't change the law because what'll happen is it puts the people that put money in their pockets at a disadvantage. If they move to decriminalize but not legalize, it does not benefit corporations. So that will likely not happen because what they want to do is they want to legalize it so it can give the people who line their pockets and lobby them, you know, an opportunity to financially benefit. And a lot of people don't understand lobbyist only means I'm giving you money. That's what lobbying is.
Yeah,
I'm making money for you. I'm creating money so that you can use it in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
man, absolutely, absolutely,
And they
man.
know everything that we talk about. They know all the numbers. They got people working. They know what's going on, man. In these legislatures and these high offices in this country and these states, even these municipal people in these local governments, they know what's going on,
Yeah,
and they have the power to ease some of these detrimental things that's going on in our community. Like, I'm not a believer in mass incarceration. I know that less than about a 0.5% of people in America are ever incarcerated at one time, but we still have the highest incarceration of any country in the world.
you're
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. I was
And
just speaking. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm listening, brother. Yeah.
No, I was just speaking about the same thing, man, the other day about it takes a person to go to another country and see how they work.
Mm,
America is so, I'm gonna use the word spoiled. So spoiled, man. If you go to Korea, not Korea, Singapore, right,
mm,
and you see how man clean their community is, you're probably pretty sure you've heard it. Well, you go to Singapore, you spit gum on the ground, and or you do this, you go to jail. Man, that's for real.
mm,
That's for real.
mm,
Singapore is one of the countries with the lowest crime rates.
mm.
And guess what? They don't really do no killing over there. They use
Right.
their cane.
Right. They're gonna cane them.
Man,
They're
they
gonna
gonna
cane
cane
them.
right there about 3, 4, 5 licks. But guess what? When people see that in America, what they yell? Man, oh, that's cruel and unusual punishment. Man,
Yep.
no.
Yep. Yep.
No.
Yep. Yep.
That's the first thing. These constitutional amendments, man, is for the birds. They benefit those that benefit from it. And
Yep.
when it comes to social and economical poverty, it only affects the black and brown communities. You know, that's my perspective of it. And can't nobody tell me otherwise, man.
Definitely is disproportionate for sure.
I see it. So I was telling somebody, hey man, you know, man, let's bring Kane and no back over here. Oh man, that's cruel and
Yeah.
unusual punishment. But guess
Yep.
what? It works. The statistics
Yep.
show everybody wants to talk about data. Now, don't get me wrong. When we talk about data, data can be manipulated, but data still has a place in society that shows whether things are effective or not.
Yep.
So that's what it is, man. The
So, bro, I want to say this, man. You really touched on something, and I'm gonna say this, man. You know, Larry Hoover, he talked about the disproportionate effects that a lot of these rules that's being in place on us, the disproportionate effect it had. He talked about it way back, you know what I'm saying, on that Ghetto Boys CD in what, 1994, 1995, almost 30 years ago. He talked about that, and he talked about the need for this apathetic majority that we actually have in America, not only with black people, the low income white people, the low income minorities in general, that we really have a sleeping giant, man, and we really got to step up and start being more responsible, man, and focusing on going to that poll, man, and focusing on changing our representatives. You know what I'm saying? And exercising our rights and doing the things that we have in our power to do, and controlling the things that we can control, man, which is not being lazy and apathetic. You know what I'm saying? Getting up, man, and being active. You know what I'm saying? And I honor that brother for that, man. Definitely, free Larry Hoover for sure,
Man,
man. You know what I'm
already.
saying? That brother, man, you know what I'm saying? That brother tried, man. You know what I'm saying? How can somebody be incarcerated so long who can make such a big change? I don't understand, man. You know what I'm saying? I
Man,
really don't
man,
understand that,
man,
bro.
that's facts. That's facts again.
Yes, sir.
Uh, man, a knowledgeable man, man.
Yes,
But
sir.
again, that shows you, and that's a whole nother subject we can get into as
Exactly.
well,
It is.
man.
It
As
is.
far as you know, how they use things to keep him incarcerated, man. But we, you know, the righteous, on the outside that tries to live by the 5 P's and 3 D's to try to minimize that, but you still have other that, hey man, we gonna do what we want to do, but for the benefits of them and not realizing this man has been in there forever.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
have,
sir. 1971.
yeah.
Man,
So
brother, come on, man. 50 years, man. 52 years, man.
yeah, someday in our time, and I may not be here to see it, but we as black and brown people need to learn how to come together, man. Because if
Yes,
we
sir.
don't, if we don't, those prisons going to continue to run and profit off of us, and the powers that be continue to be rich, and that's what it
Absolutely.
is. So
Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you, bro. Because I'm gonna say, man, what I'm telling you, one brother I can say who has achieved at a very high level, man, and done all good with your life, man. You know what I'm saying? And a brother that I've respected all of my life. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
appreciate it, man, for
you know what I'm
sure.
saying? I take you, you know what I'm saying, definitely as an example, man. I think you're an example for most people, man, to have come from where you from and achieve the things that you have achieved, man, and still focus on reaching back and building up a community, you know what I'm saying? And building up our people, you know what I'm saying? And people in general, because
Right.
it's just not about black people or brown people or white people. It's about all the people who are disenfranchised and disproportionately suffering from these rules that have been put in place to benefit the people that power that be. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but I know what is true, and I look at this stuff every day, and I look into this stuff every day, man, and I don't see many people who have PhDs and MDs
Hmm.
and JDs, and you know what I'm saying, these professional people
Right.
actually focusing on the things that could help us grow and improve and increase our knowledge in general. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
really appreciate you, bro, for sure.
man. I appreciate it, man. Man, we go back, we go way back, man, and you know what I'm saying. Man, I appreciate you and everything, and I'm proud of you as well, man. But that's one thing we need to do. We need to continue to reach, man, and pull each other up the best way we can within the length of our cable toe.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
But we get, and I'm just gonna say it, man. Sometimes we try to reach people that don't want to be reached, and we got to be good with
Hmm.
that. You
Yep.
understand? It might
Yep.
sound harsh, but we got to be good with leaving the people that don't want to be helped, leave them alone, because
Yes,
we
sir.
find ourselves digging a hole right along with them.
Yes, sir. Trying to get
So
on a level.
man, what and
Yes, sir.
I'm a firm believer, man. I try to, you know, if you can't look at me and, well, first of all, you got to know me, right? Just like
Yes,
you just
sir.
said. But you don't really have to know me where I come from, but you have to be able to look at me or another man, right, or another person, right, and be able to read their persona and be like, hey man, that person, got their stuff together. Maybe I
Yep.
should pay a little more attention, to be able to
Yep.
realize, man, I'm a firm believer that when you surround yourself by successful people, you can't do nothing but be successful, man. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely agree, brother.
yep. So, man, it was a good thing, man. So, I think to wrap it up, am I against legalizing marijuana? I am, and my reason is because I think and see that it continues to hurt the the people in poverty, right? Our
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods, and and being an educator, really being an educator and seeing students come in high, bruh, you already ain't doing no work. So you come in school with high, you definitely ain't. You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
the
Yep.
and you know what, man, the students again, this could probably be another topic, but I'm gonna show you how this plays. It plays. Students bring vapes into the schools and
Hmm.
man, my room is right next to the security, the police, right room, and the bathroom is like 8 feet from both of us. We right in between the bathroom. I can't tell you how many times students come in that bathroom, man, and fire up. And the
Mm.
police, man, right, you walk right out the door and you looking right at the police station in the school, man. So this is the reason why I'm against legalizing marijuana, because that's how it starts to affect
It's
everything.
detrimental for
It's
sure.
detrimental, man. I can't express this. We keep falling behind, falling behind, and falling behind. High school to prison pipeline is so real right now.
Hmm.
It's so real. I see it every day. But we're gonna say that
Yes,
for
sir.
another main episode, man. But I appreciate you coming out, man, checking in, and man, hey, we gonna jump on, man. And I
For
think we
sure.
had another episode we was gonna talk on, man. But we'll
Yep.
we'll set that
Yep.
up and everything when you have time. Any
I
last minute
appreciate you inviting
comments
me
or
to your
thoughts?
house. Man,
Yes,
I would definitely
sir.
like to say that it's been a pleasure, and I'm hoping that we can make a positive impact on our people, man, and all people, in general. I definitely want to say the Only Facts and Stats podcast will be having its first live episode on July 4th. Um, Definitely, go to my YouTube page, like it, subscribe to it, and know that my mission is to encourage men in general, black men specifically, to improve themselves in their situations, man. And by doing that, hopefully improve our communities, um, and increase our a nuclear family base, because that's the primary unit of our society, and that's the only way that we're going to improve, is to begin to focus on that, and do those things that are, again, positive and productive, as we've been taught, and as the doctor like to say, follow them 5 P's and them 3 D's, so
Right
like I
on.
said, on the Facts and Stats podcast, and shout out to everybody, I'm talking about, who are, I'm saying, giving all giving all folks true
Solid truth
advice,
advice. Yes, sir.
solid and true advice, man, for sure, man. Got for sure, for sure.
Right on, right on. We're gonna get this intro started, man, and we gonna follow it up, but I appreciate it, man, and we gonna
All
roll
right, bro.
out and catch up with you next time, man.
All right, bro.
Yep,
For
love.
sure.
Yep.
Plenty much, bro. Never too much.